hate American politics because our election seasons are so
These ain't opinions. These are facts.
Oh, my exes left Texas because it's too big a state and their barbecue shit. Texas, Texas, Texas. What is going on in Texas? Well, boredom outside Austin, lots of closeted action. Inside Austin, very clear, non-closeted action. No one is worried about the Alamo right now because the state is quickly becoming a battleground of political contention internally. Also, south of the border isn't a haven for lot lizards like it is here in North Carolina. In the eyes of many Texas politicians, south of the border is a threat of nuclear war in the face of someone carrying a backpack, fighting dehydration and coyotes of the human and animal variety in the hope, not the guarantee, but the hope they could spend their week standing outside a Home Depot for the opportunity of installing some suburban housewives' third cabinet set in 8 months. Working donations for Habitat for Humanity will truly shock you into the true waste of middle-class suburbia, specifically upper middle-class suburbia, but middle-class suburbia in general here in America. It's ridiculous. It's dark brown cabinets versus darker brown cabinets. What difference does it make? Like, you'll have the Ford F-150 Platinum in the middle of a neighborhood with houses worth $400K and the yard is barely like a tenth of an acre. That's bull. Or, daily Amazon deliveries along with a obsession with Target. Complete bull. The biggest sign. They live in a city and have never gone camping or riding horses. They're not a nature folk. Heck, they probably haven't even gone hunting at least once. And you like never see this person without cowboy boots and, the big circle buckle whenever they're out and about. And it's like, what the fuck? What's the aesthetic? Like, okay, there's a certain point at which the aesthetic is kind of pointless, right? And we're just wrong. Let me know down in the comments. Anyways, what is the reason Texas is staying non-stop right now in the political news cycle? Well, they are trying to do some gerrymandering.
That's not good.
Now, this is a typical thing of Republicans because more often than not these days, they cannot rely solely on policy and promises. They often have to make things about something which doesn't matter and then run it dry without doing anything about that, or even worse, doing something about it and just creating nothing but harm and not producing any ounce of benefit whatsoever. Just straight harm to their own constituents first, by the way. It's usually them who get hit first. Sometimes it's just literally fucking everyone, but sometimes it's usually their own constituents stabbing themselves through their voting ability.
We have people that are stupid.
Don't worry, Republicans about to run to the comment section and say, yeah, well, the trans aren't in the bathroom, so my children are safe. Do you really want to have a stats battle over the per capita of Republican politicians versus trans people that are predators? Because I'm telling you, it's a race you will lose.
And Marissa, don't do it.
But Republicans want to redistrict Texas to knock off 4 Democratic guaranteed seats, so they replace them with districts which will ensure more Republican control in the state and beyond. And if there's one thing we have been asking Democrat politicians to do across the country ever since the first day of Trump in this new regime, where he, shot out countless executive orders in a stadium, and Elon did the Voldemort thing. The thing we've been asking them to do is do something. Just something. And we don't mean like toothless something. We mean something. Something that feels like you actually give a damn. Something to piss off the opposing side and also make it clear that this shit will not be easy. That if you're going to push us to fascism, then it will be through a very slow moving iceberg. One that even the Titanic could dodge. And I want to make this clear. She could have helped him find another door, or even try to let him on that specific door. Take fucking turns, okay? She could have did more. That's all I'm saying. Fuck Rose.
It's been 84 years.
Shut that hole in your face!
But Cory Booker talking over and over to people who do not give a damn, just so he could make the rounds on mainstream media and get applause from media figures while people were getting kidnapped off the streets, losing healthcare, and economically no longer afloat but being drowned so rapidly that shit, I mean, that was one of the rarest moments where American politics genuinely made me...
What's wrong with you, bro? What the heck? You tripping, bro. You tripping.
Fucking livid. I did respect things Bernie and AOC were doing with rallies, but also a decent amount of these rallies were in areas already on the blue donkey ride. Democrats have not really gone out to the base areas of Republicans to make some changes in views. And it's possible Beto O'Rourke did it. He didn't succeed and was pretty cringe at times.
Try and figure out a way to stand out. And Beto O'Rourke, wow. Beto O'Rourke, he knows there's one way to spice up a bland affair.
Was a linguistic surprise from Beto O'Rourke.
This economy has got to work for everyone. And right now we know that it isn't. And it's going to take all of us coming together to make sure cada votante necesitamos.
Cory Booker's face.
But he did it. I know he changed some minds at the bare minimum. And once again, we are looking to a good example in the form of what Democratic reps are doing to counter the gerrymandering attempt by state Republicans, despite threats from the Attorney General, Governor Hot Wheels, and even the fucking president. So let's get into what they are doing. In this article by USA Today by Philip and Bailey, pack toothbrush, pack hairspray, how the Texas Democrats are living on the run. A child starting kindergarten is a milestone most American families wouldn't dare miss, but it's one John Busey will be absent from this month when one of his daughters takes a first step in her education. The 41-year-old Texas state legislator, whose district includes part of northern Austin, is among the more than 50 Democratic lawmakers who fled the Lone Star State to thwart.
Bravo!
President Donald Trump's efforts to protect his razor-thin Republican majority in Congress. He packed his suitcase to be gone for 30 days, maybe longer. It makes me scared. It makes me sad, Busey said in an interview about his self-imposed exodus from his family. I want to be a part of their lives every chance that I can, but what scares me more is if I'm not here, if they grow up and things are worse off in this country because we didn't stop this gerrymandering. Ooh, dyslexia was fighting there. Busey is staying at an undisclosed hotel in Illinois while he and his fellow Democrats continue to block their Republican colleagues from conducting official businesses back in Austin, which we understand why it's undisclosed, which I think now they're moving to California, I believe, but I digress. Continue to block their Republican back in Austin, such as the rare mid-decade redrawing of their state's map that define congressional district boundaries. He said he's still in touch with the legislative staff who are keeping up with constituents and connecting them to state agencies. Texas is a part-time legislator with a $7,200 annual salary, so like many members, Busey also has a regular job running a statewide organization that provides athletic, academic, and arts competitions for charter school students. Sounds like a job he makes a shit ton of money in. I'm pretty sure. Other Texas, have you seen the size of Texas? Have you seen their schools? Motherfuckers making a killing. Other Texas colleagues who aren't able to work remotely say they are juggling their personal lives too amid a partisan firestorm that is spilling over into other Republican and Democratic controlled states ahead of the November 2026 midterm election campaign, which is a big thing here. We got midterms on the way. They're slowly winding up. I hate American politics because our election seasons are so fucked.
These ain't opinions. These are facts.
Texas State Rep Donna Howard said she had to take her grandson along with her when she left town. All these things, they're leaving basically because the Republicans want to essentially wipe the blue districts, the guaranteed blue districts, off of their districting map. And you do that through gerrymandering. You split those districts up and add them to other districts, or create new districts by combining them with larger majorities of Republican guaranteed voters, so that way the blue voices are overwhelmed, and eventually you can gerrymander it enough, which is how the Texans want to do it, to where the entire state becomes a flood of red. And that's what they're trying to do. Literally, even cities will basically be guaranteed to be electing Republican congressmen, whether it's state legislator or national legislation. Okay, they're trying to do that. USA Today spoke with more than a dozen Texas Democrats at the center of the national tug of war who are facing $500 per day fines plus sharp rebukes from Trump and his allies.
They have to. They may have to. No, I know they want him back. Not only the Attorney General, the governor wants him back. If you look, I mean, the governor of Texas
Best
is
saying it like
they
that.
come
Like,
back. So a lot of
please
people
come
are
back,
demanding
my
they come
friend.
back.
Please come
You
back.
can't just sit it out.
My
You have to
friend,
go back
come
and
on
fight it out.
back.
That's what elections
Come
are all
on.
about.
And by the way, what they're doing is a tactic called breaking quorum. And basically what it is it's a legal tactic. It's a deceptive tactic where you remove yourself in a large enough number that it prevents voting. So instead of doing, oh, we're absent, it's not even an absent as an option. You just essentially up and leave. And since you're no longer there, it completely hard locks, you know, whatever house you were in. So if you were in the Texas House of Representatives, state legislator, and you left in large enough numbers, there's nothing that legislator can then do when it comes to redistricting, right? Because it requires a certain amount of things to be met, essentially a certain number of involved voters to be met for it to even if there was no chance of it going forward, it still requires a certain amount of involved votes. So that kind of covers exactly what they're doing. Now we get on to how this whole thing how it might end. I've said it before, I'm a pretty pessimistic, pretty cynical, and because I prefer to operate on logic and reasoning, I don't think this will stop really this gerrymandering from going forward. Delay it, yeah, remember the iceberg.
It's been 84 years.
Shut that hole in your face!
That's the situation we're trying to at least put as an option. But I am not the only one, okay? After all, this is Texas we are talking about here. According to an article by The Atlantic, written by Elaine Godfrey, possible relation to the Godfrey, for a successful quorum break, the timing has to be right. State Representative Gina Hinojosa told me, like a melon at the grocery store. On Sunday, she and dozens of her colleagues hopped on a chartered plane and flew to Chicago in an attempt to prevent Texas Republicans from redrawing the state's congressional maps. They don't seem to know how long they'll be there or when exactly they'll consider the job done. Perhaps, Hinojosa suggested, they can attract enough attention to the issue that Republicans will be shamed into abandoning the effort. No, they won't. They just won't. Have you seen the things they have done over the past, since Reagan? Hell, before Reagan. Have you seen the shit Republicans have done? They are not shamed, ever. Shame, however, is not an emotion experienced by many politicians these days, least of all, ones who answer to Donald Trump. The likeliest conclusion of this effort is that Republicans will get their wish, just as they did after a similar situation in 2021. Not knowing how long they can do this plays a huge part, because the reality of all this is in America, time is everything. It just is. And time costs money.
Time is money, boy.
And money is surely something the staff of these reps have to account for when they're sitting here trying to juggle all this stuff, and the reps are trying to juggle all this stuff. And as we've said, as we've alluded to earlier, this is a part-time state. Your rep job is not paying you a salary that can allow you to just go on the run and stay in hotels and all this crazy shit, especially with the prices of hotels. I mean, holy hell, even Airbnbs are getting fucking ridiculous.
You're so stupid!
But quorum breaks are, by nature, temporary. Eventually, the wayward lawmakers will go home. What matters is when. The candidate filling deadline for the 2026 election is December 8th, and the primary is in March. So theoretically, if lawmakers can stay out of the state for multiple months, Republicans might run into legal problems getting their new map in place. One problem with the run down the clock strategy is that in the past, Texas courts have simply postponed the state's primary while congressional maps were being litigated. That delay likely contributed to the Ted Cruz 2012 Senate victory. If Republicans are willing to muddle and fudge the waters on this same situation one time before for fucking Ted Cruz,
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
fucking Ted, never in his state when problems arise. Cruz. Ted looks like a fucking lizard in human form. Cruz.
Nobody likes you.
What do you think they are willing to do in the name of 4 future Republican candidates? One day these demons will have their day and they will go down the tube knowing one of the swords they fell on was one for fucking Ted Cruz.
That ain't right. Shame on you.
Which will be a depressing moment for them, for once. And these reps are doing this with their own families being placed on the line. When I asked Texas Representative Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos how long she was willing to stay in Chicago, she told me that she understands the burden this puts on families. Her own daughter is recovering from a liver transplant. Holy shit, dude. Am I prepared for 2 weeks? 3 weeks? What is the alternative? She asked. If this is a sacrifice that we need to make, then it's a sacrifice that has to be made. But 2 or 3 weeks probably won't be enough. It's possible, Rodriguez Ramos suggested, that the state's 11 Senate Democrats who remain in state could take their own turn breaking quorum. Only one chamber needs to do so to stop legislation from being passed. I mean, look, this is some tough stuff. But also, we didn't plan for this before fucking hand.
Let me check my Palm Pilot. Look like I ain't doing shit.
Like, we should have already had a master blunt rotation in formation. 2 to 3 days before one group returns, the other needs to already be out of the state, considering Texas is one of those big ass states, and that lead up time will allow for predicting any hindrance and countering it. Plus, you get one more stop at a Buc-ee's on the fucking way out. I'm a Sheetz freak, loyally, but the moment one of those Buc-ee's hits the Triangle area, shit's getting real. It's a competition. Sheetz will have to earn my loyalty.
That's the reason why I won't let you kill me.
They will have to cement it somehow. Maybe put my face on one of those fucking oil tankers. Not really. I don't want that. I don't want people to see my face everywhere. Which is funny because I'm sitting here doing YouTube and there's a likelihood that someone might see my face everywhere. It's not a high likelihood because holy shit, no one subscribes. Didn't mean to yell. And as I alluded to earlier, they are facing more threats than just emotional heartstrings. A Senator John Cornyn, which is what I imagine a testicle looks like on a person who takes Viagra, has apparently tried to get the legal enforcement, according to a BBC article by Anna Fegu. What a name. Just what a name. You walk people right up to that word and then you dart. A dispute over a plan to redraw electoral boundaries in the U.S. state of Texas has escalated again after a senator said the Federal Bureau of Investigation had agreed to help find Democrats who have fled the state. The FBI would not confirm whether they agreed to help, and the senator, Republican John Cornyn of Texas, the testicle, did not specify what kind of assistance the FBI would offer. It comes a day after some Democrats were forced to evacuate a hotel where they were staying in Illinois as they protest Republicans' efforts to change the map of congressional districts. Senator Cornyn said in a statement that FBI Director Kash Patel had approved my request for the FBI to assist state and local law enforcement in locating runaway Texas House Democrats. On Tuesday, Senator Cornyn wrote to the FBI asking it to get involved, saying he was concerned that legislators who solicited or accepted funds to aid in their efforts to avoid legislative duties may be guilty of bribery or other public corruption offenses.
Hypocrisy, my friend.
Isn't that what Republicans do when they take money from fucking Israel? Same thing with Democrats, senators, and representatives. Isn't that what you all fucking do? You just projected and snitched on yourself, which I am no expert, okay? But isn't this the bitchiest snitching you've ever seen?
At that point, I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability.
Like, not to mention, isn't freedom of travel a, accepted right in the United States? There's a reason there's no fucking border patrol in between each fucking state. Or am I wrong about that? Especially in a way, they are traveling away from their duties to actually uphold their duties. And stay with me here. Isn't this bullshit that the party, which more often than not produces some pretty heavy numbers of sovereign fucking citizens, is out here saying making use of every loophole or legal tactic is not legal and a snitchable fucking offense?
That's a good question.
Are you the party of law and order, following social and legal structures, or are you the party of snitching Viagra testicles? Which is it?
It's a relatively straightforward question.
I think it's the Viagra testicles. You all are just mad that you don't have good sex anymore. I think that's just all this might be. And it isn't just their fellow Texans throwing threats. It is not clear whether federal officers were already involved in the search for more than 50 state lawmakers who have left Texas. The location of many of them is well known. On Tuesday, they held a press conference in a Chicago area hotel decrying the gerrymandering attempt. The escalation comes one day after a bomb threat was called into a hotel where some of the Democrats were staying. This morning, a threat was made against the safety of the members of Texas House Democratic Caucus. Texas House Democrats wrote on Twitter, "We are safe, we are secure, and we are undeterred. We are grateful for Governor Pritzker, local and state law enforcement for their quick action to ensure our safety." There is a divorced dad somewhere thinking he did something while he scared the hell out of a family of 5 on their vacation in Chicago to see the bean. They were also staying in that hotel, which I would never ever touch that thing. I know they clean it or whatever, but I've never seen a photo of that thing up close where there wasn't just a bunch of fucking handprints. Bunch of smudges filled to high heaven, okay? Feel like with my luck, as soon as I touch it, my doctor's just gonna sign my death certificate. This asshole with his fucking Harley. You like, what the fuck? Why are you just chilling at the corner of my street? But it isn't just bomb threats by divorced dads or great testicles. There's also threats from his orangeness, the commander in citrus, Donald J. Trump.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
On Tuesday, Trump was asked whether the FBI should get involved in the matter and replied, "They may have to," adding, "It almost looks like they've abandoned the state. I know they want them back. Not only the Attorney General, the governor wants them back," Trump said. "So a lot of people have demanded they come back. You can't just sit it out. You have to go back. You have to fight it out. That's what elections are all about." To which I say,
go f yourself.
Kinda right, kinda wrong. But considering your track record of being on the wrong, I think it is safe to say that you're just in the fucking wrong. Especially because of how you're doing it, right? It'd be different if you did it a different way.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
Here is how he is right. If Dems were doing this shit right from the jump, let's say 2016 was nightmare shit show for them, and the first 2 years showed you cannot fuck around with this shit. Maybe even give them the midterm considering Ronna intervened. Ronna being, you know, that one.
Coronavirus!
Come Biden's victory, Dems should have gotten their high asses into high gear to ensure that never again could a truly unserious, idiot dipshit, $5 brain, heavy, naked mole rat covered in cheap tanning spray like Donald Trump was a viable candidate for Republicans ever again. Would it be easy? No. Donald had captivated something, a real trigger in the American mind and timeline, a poignant and powerfully corruptible. He triggered all-out racism. I mean, he triggered American racism.
I am a little disappointed.
I'm not gonna fucking put a spin on this shit to make it seem like the motherfucker was the second coming of Christ. We're not doing that. He triggered racism. But he wasn't as fascist as he was now. Part of that, of course, being there was decorum. His major cabinet members weren't adult dick riders, and 2 kids in JD Vance and Marco Rubio come the first time around. But now, he is all of those things and worse.
Quiet.
Technically started a war with Iran without congressional approval, is continuing support for the genocide in Gaza to the point that Israel has announced openly they will take full fucking control of it. Betrayed our allies to rub shoulders with his fellow future nursing home buddy and Vladimir Putin. Trashed and thrashed the economy not once or twice, at this point every other week. Violates human rights by the thousands daily, and basically pisses daily on the Constitution, which his oath specifically says not to do, and much, much, much more. By the way, he took office in January of this year.
Oh, no.
Meaning we aren't even 12 months away from a change. We are fucking 3 whole ass years and some change away from the end of this nightmare. We're fucked.
It's the end of the world in my mind.
So if Dems had their shit together like we asked long ago, or even just when Biden won, and if at least 50% of the party actually went the progressive route instead of the steady course with some progress, as if there wasn't a fucking iceberg right in front of us, weren't goddamn liberals, and actually spoke to and voted towards the people's needs, then even if Trump won, there is a chance Texas could have had some larger challenge from Democrats in the state, if not maybe even a slight majority in their state legislature in Texas. Wouldn't that be a fucking sight to see? But instead, their only possible real option of any proper impact is to run from the state, head tucked between their legs, and leaving their families to uncertainty in moments they may need them, allowing Republicans to control the narrative a good deal in a state that needs consistent message pushing in direct contact in order for it to land right. Sure, all of us leftists and liberals were in the approval of response to the Democrats to leave, since it was the last option to prevent the gerrymandering, which would have essentially slaughtered Democratic representation in the state. I commend them for it, even if I fucking hate the Democrats. I do commend them for it. They are putting on the line their own lives, their own safety, and unfortunately, due to the circumstances of this country, their own families are being impacted as well. But this cannot be it. And moreover, there has to be more across the country, and there is. There are still ongoing protests in LA, and people are challenging ICE in whatever way they can when they begin snatching people up in their state. Blue states are slowly but surely solidifying certain protections and laws as best they can to prepare for the slowly winding up approaching midterm. But there needs to be something dagger-like. Something which Republicans cannot just wash away as a fluke, or us crying, or this and that, or something which hits them so hard it breaks this nonsense, pushes them to accept that they have gone as far as they can. What am I talking about? This is a Montgomery bus. It was segregated for much of its existence until this moment, when civil rights activists like Rosa Parks and others hopped on board and refused to give up their seats. Sure, they had a long road and a long journey ahead of them, even facing jail time, fines, or even beatings and lynching. They didn't know if it would succeed. They didn't know if they would see the first sprouts of the trees of the seeds they planted, but they still stepped onto those buses to change something. And that is what we need to change all of this. We need our Montgomery bus boycott moment. We need our stand, and to take inspiration from these Democrats, and knowing these people only live and breathe off green and dead presidents, those who aren't for this awful and horrific destruction of democracy as we know it, those who have loved ones affected or know someone affected, or those who simply want their future back, if not for themselves but for others, we need to boycott what they love, what they need. It's cool and hip to have a blacked out fucking Insta post or whatever and change your profile pic to have a trans flag or your pronouns in your bio, or even protest in the streets. But in the modern world, the only way you remove a threat is cutting off the very source by which it breeds. The way this threat breeds is money. What that looks like is something we have to all decide together, of course, but in my mind, it should be a day, a week. Hell, if we can do it, a full month of limited to no participation in the economy. Obviously, you gotta pay your bills. You gotta keep your lights on. Don't get your car repossessed, your rent, pay it. The necessities. Fine. But the bullshit, the excess, the wants, the fancy dinners, the clothes purchases, the new cars, travel, new credit cards, expensive groceries for the sake of organic or whatever, when it's all the same shit, concerts, Amazon orders, if it doesn't keep you alive or sheltered at the very fucking least, and that's its sole purpose, then we should call it. The only thing that moves these guys is money. They move each and every day to snatch more and more out of you. Even when you are dying or haven't been born yet, the game is to take every penny you got and do so without you even noticing. That's fascism, using capitalism to breed itself. So we need to cut the cord in a major way. We need to show the Texas Democrats that they are not alone in this stance, especially the sacrifice that they are making. And yes, you can say, we elected them. They supported you. You put them into your sacrifice. They're supposed to represent your views, okay? And if they're willing to sacrifice for your views, then you have to sacrifice as well. And we need to show Republicans their door is a lot smaller than they think. In the cold, cruel world, which each and every last one of us does our best to survive in every day, it will get you eventually too. Do I think this will actually change things? Hell yeah. But we have got to get there first. And just watching Texas Democrats go down swinging is not even remotely close to enough. So good luck out there, and let's actually change this. Let's do something.
Yo, let's let the smoke rise. Wise guy, Zacho. It's the sky's reality entertainment. Come on, let the smoke rise all night and live for every moment of your whole life. It's your own life, but don't lie. And live for every moment just to know that it's alright. Smoke rise all night. And live for every moment of your whole life. It's your own life, but don't lie. And live for every moment just to know that it's alright. It's alright to make music how you want to. If you got nothing to hold on to, the music you belong to. It's alright to hit the bong, and it's okay to write a song to make your dreams come true. Homie, it's on you, but never sell